Level 1, the warning bell. The first thing they ever buy from you is not your strength or your loyalty, it is your voice. You're 14 years old, sitting on the concrete steps of the apartment building you've lived in your whole life. A 19-year-old local guy named Ray crouches down next to you. His sneakers are blindingly white, completely spotless. On your block, pristine sneakers are a resume. He looks at you and asks if you know how to whistle. You do. 2 sharp notes that cut right through heavy afternoon traffic. He points to a gray sedan turning onto the street and tells you that whenever you see that car, you whistle twice. That's it. That's the entire job. For 4 hours, you sit on your own steps, doing what you were already doing, except now you're doing it for somebody else. At 8 o'clock, Ray walks past without stopping and presses 2 folded $20 bills into your palm like a secret handshake. $40 for sitting on your own steps. Your mother cleans commercial office buildings from 6 at night until 2 in the morning for $9.25 an hour. Before you can stop yourself, you do the division in your head, and the math tells you that your 4-hour whistle just out-earned her 8-hour mop. You don't tell her. Nobody teaches you that rule. It just comes pre-installed inside your apartment. The numbers are everywhere, and none of them make sense. The electric bill is almost $200 past due, printed in bright red ink. The rent is over $1,100, and the calendar on the wall feels like a bomb ticking down. The refrigerator holds a bottle of hot sauce, baking soda, and a margin for error of absolute 0. On Sunday nights, your mother counts quarters into a plastic sandwich bag for the laundromat, stacking them neatly in groups of 4 on the kitchen table. You've watched her do it your entire childhood without understanding what you were really looking at. Now you do. You are looking at an honest woman doing everything right inside a mathematical equation with no right answer. By the second week, Ray asks if you can hold a plain plastic bag in your backpack for 20 minutes. You don't ask what's in it. Ray notices that you don't ask. Out here, curiosity carries a heavy price, but silence pays a steady wage. He gives you $60 this time. You go straight to the grocery store and buy real food. A receipt as long as your arm. When your mother asks where the food came from, you tell her you got a job bagging groceries at the market after school. She is too exhausted from work to check, and the lie slides out of your mouth so smoothly that it actually terrifies you. You tell yourself the lie is a gift to her, but deep down it doesn't feel like a gift. It feels like the very first installment on a contract you never read. By the end of the month, you know your street the way an airplane pilot knows a cockpit. You know which cars belong, which upper-story windows have eyes behind them, which corners are just sidewalk, and which corners are active business sites. You thought you grew up here, but you're only now learning where you actually live. Then Ray tells you a permanent spot is opening up. Real shifts, real money. He says it the way an executive announces a corporate promotion. You say yes before he even finishes his sentence. You honestly think you're getting a job, but in reality, you're just being recruited into the lower ranks of the underground system. Level 2, the street corner. The illegal street economy runs on unwritten laws, and the first law is simple. Everything belongs to someone else, and none of that someone is you. Not the inventory, not the corner, not even your 8-hour shift. 4 in the afternoon to midnight, $100 flat, rain or shine. And the rain matters because customers don't care about the weather, but lookouts get tired. You are a runner now, moving small amounts of contraband short distances. You're 15 and thin, which means the legal system goes lighter on you. And somewhere far above you, a man you have never met has already calculated that age dynamic directly into his business plan. You learn the street choreography fast. Money and product never ride in the same pocket. Never touch the same hands. Never move in the same minute. The nightly count is sacred, and every single dollar must be accounted for before you go home. Being short once leads to a serious conversation. Being short twice leads to an entirely different kind of encounter. You also learn to read the block's secondary clock. The same unmarked sedan passing twice in 10 minutes means it's time to step off the strip. A jogger with pristine shoes and a dead phone means the exact same thing. You develop an animal's ear for car engines. Standing on the corner, you notice an older man named Otis. He's 51 years old, and he spent 30 of those years working one minor role or another on this exact strip. Everyone is polite to Otis, but absolutely nobody wants to become Otis. It takes you months to realize that Otis isn't just a local character. He is the future weather forecast for your life. Across the street sits a neighborhood grocery store, and the owner, Mr. Ellis, has watched this corner from behind his register for 26 years. One afternoon, he catches you near the cooler and says quietly, "I pay $8.50 an hour to stock shelves after school." You almost laugh because you make that in 20 minutes standing still. But Mr. Ellis doesn't blink. He just tells you the offer doesn't expire, adding that most things out here usually do. You buy your drink and leave, but the chime over his door follows you around for a week. At home, you start tucking folded bills under the kitchen sugar jar. 200, 300 at a time. Every single time it comes back. No note, no argument, just slipped back into your jacket pocket like the house itself is rejecting the money. Your mother irons your school shirt the very same night she returns the cash. Both things are happening at once, and you spend years learning how often contradictory truths exist in the same room. Level 3, the supply line. By 16, Ray hands you your first advanced package. He calls it an opportunity. In reality, it's a high-risk debt trap. They hand you $1,200 worth of product, and you owe $800 back by Sunday night. Whatever is left over is your personal profit. That's the sales pitch. Here's the part they don't print. The $800 is due no matter what happens. If you get robbed, it's due. If police sit on the corner for 3 days, it's due. The risk flows entirely downhill and lands straight in your lap. You are now the only person in the entire chain with a guaranteed financial loss and an optional profit. Out here, credit isn't a favor, it's a leash. You watch what happens to a younger kid who comes up short on his payment. Nobody lays a finger on him. They just double his debt. Suddenly, he isn't working the street. The street is working him, eating his life faster than he can earn. So you develop a terrifying level of discipline. You never touch the product, you count every bill 3 times, and you pay early.
By 17, you're holding thousands in cash, but you can't buy a single adult thing with it.
You buy a used car, but it has to go in your cousin's name because your name can't hold assets. You have money, but you own absolutely nothing. When your mother finds a roll of cash in your laundry, she sets it on the table and asks whose it is. You lie again, and she softly tells you that if it's honest money, it should be easy to return, walking away from her own kitchen. She never touches a single dollar of it. Level 4, the high-tier operation. By 19, you run a small crew. The phone rings constantly, and by the weekend, thousands of dollars flow through your hands. But you quickly learn the ultimate truth about illicit money. It is useless for building a real future. You can't open a bank account, you can't sign a legitimate apartment lease, and you can't build credit. You pay higher rent in cash just to stay hidden, paying a hidden tax on every basic necessity. Meanwhile, the legal fees for your crew aren't unexpected emergencies. They are routine subscription costs. You start sleeping with one eye open, calculating exits in every room you enter. You look around at the guys who started with you. Out of 11 people, 2 are gone, 4 are locked away in cells, 3 vanished, 1 is Otis, and 0 got rich. You finally see the entire hierarchy from above. It's a meat grinder designed to convert young men into temporary cash, and the machine always wins. Level 5, the exit. You realize you have to get out before the system claims you entirely. You take every bit of cash you've saved, step away from the block, and settle all outstanding debts with the older bosses who control the area. You walk away with $50,000 in cash, only to realize the final joke. Converting illegal money into a legal life is almost impossible. Every legitimate door asks for proof of income that you don't have, so that money slowly drains away on basic everyday survival. $20 at a time over 2 full years. On a rainy Monday at 23 years old, you walk back into Mr. Ellis's grocery store. The chime over the door rings the exact same way it did when you were 14. Ellis looks at you, nods slowly, and says, "Floor gets swept twice a day, register comes later, $9.50 an hour." You take the apron. Your first real paycheck, $348, outweighs thousands in hidden cash. It has your name, a paper trail, and legitimate value. Over a decade of street-honed discipline, you save clean money, build credit, and buy the grocery store. Standing behind your own counter, you finally own your work, your corner, and your future.